Well, here we are, and it's another week closer to Christmas, and we're talking about drones flying around New Jersey, and stock market fell a little bit. Looks like we had a bit of a correction on the Dow Jones Industrial Average over the last couple of days. I don't know, but there's another government shutdown that they're talking about. That's a bit interesting, and people are going through those normal rounds that they will go through to debate whether we're going to increase the debt ceiling or if we're going to maybe shut down the government. And I guess it's not really a surprise because this has happened so many times now. It doesn't really shock anyone. I don't think anyone's too worried about the drones either. It's just maybe our lives are so boring that we look for something interesting to distract us, and drones have been filling that void for the last week or two in the news cycle. Stock market's a interesting thing because it does go up and down, but despite some corrections down, it's not really unusual. We have seen a pretty wild rally going up after Donald Trump won the election. And so it doesn't stand to be a surprise at all if the stock market or cryptos or some of those different things fall back to earth. But anyway, none of that really matters, and that isn't really what I was going to make a video about. I've been on the road going around to the different little cities in Montana this week, visiting the Walmart stores as we tend to do. And at this time of year, usually all we're doing is going in and saying hello and Merry Christmas to people and shaking a few hands and saying our hellos and moving on. It's not really the time of year for anything too serious, I guess. And usually the home office team takes a lot of time off the week after Christmas. So that week from Christmas until New Year's is usually a pretty quiet time. Anyway, not to say that something interesting might not still happen, but for the greater part, it's usually a pretty quiet time. And then in January, there will be more talks of whatever restructures or changes might be coming in the new year, and then things just slowly ramp up from there. But I think it's quite interesting how the seasons go in retail. Like, you start seeing Christmas get weeded out before Christmas ever comes, and people are always surprised when the seasonal merchandise comes because Christmas starts to appear before Halloween, and Halloween starts to appear before people realize that summer's over. And then, oddly, as soon as you start thinking that it's about time for Christmas, well, Valentine's Day is making its way in the back door, and I'm sure it probably seems pretty surprising to people to think that Valentine's Day is already here, but it is. If you go in the back rooms of most retailers, you'll probably find Valentine's merchandise starting to make its way in, because you always buy a year out, and then you start shipping stuff in advance of the seasons so that people have a chance to get the things that they want, and then they can have their things ready before the actual celebrations begin. And then when the time comes for the actual holiday, well, the retail cycle's really pretty much over at that point, because, well, people don't buy their Christmas decorations and put them up on Christmas Day. They get that stuff a bit before. Anyways, I guess the theme of today's video is this idea of duality, once again, as I've come to enjoy talking about so much because it just ties in quite well. We all have different personalities, and we have different focuses and different things that drive us. And I think there's a certain corruption in a lot of people. I think we all have something corrupt about us, something a little bit evil inside, maybe. We all have that darkness, and we have the light. And everyone has something going on that makes them a bit of a joke, or maybe a bit evil, maybe a bit of a caricature, maybe worthy of having fun made or stones thrown, or the taking of jabs, and it's okay. I think we talk a lot about trying to have the right kind of an attitude, especially around a time like Christmas. We talk about having a good spirit and being gentle-hearted and kind and patient and virtuous and all of that kind of thing. And those are good things. But sometimes I think maybe it's also important to remember that we're human too, so it's okay. Some people are just meant to be restless, and some people are meant to be competitive. Some people are meant to be a bit vicious sometimes, and the world takes all different kinds in order to have balance and harmony. Some are meant to lead, and some are meant to follow. Some are meant to innovate, and some are meant to invent, and some are meant to improve the inventions of others. Some are meant to be good stewards of work others have done, and some are meant to write chapters themselves. And in the end, I think at a time of year when we focus on togetherness and we talk about all of the things that make Christmas, I guess maybe it's important just to remember that we do need all different kinds of people in the world, and it's okay to make fun of people, and it's okay to take a different perspective and a different side, and you can also believe that other people should have their opinions, even if you don't share those opinions exactly. I like to throw stones at things like cryptocurrency, for example, because I just don't really believe in it. But there's other people that do believe in it, and they like to invest in that or buy it, and that's their business. Maybe they'll win big, and if they do, well, good for them. Or maybe they'll lose their money, and it'll just be a big hump that goes up and comes down. And that's okay too. Sometimes people get disappointed, and sometimes they get rewarded. It's all okay. And I think it's interesting how in a world where people are always debating about whether it's right to be a liberal or a conservative, a traditionalist or a progressive, the truth of the matter is that liberals are amazing. Their ideas are important, and their ideas are vital even to our society. And so are the traditionalists. We need our traditions. We need our people who are afraid of moving forward, that want to stay in the past. We need people who still remember what a rotary telephone is like, or maybe what a dial-up modem is like. The people who still use their landline telephones or watch movies that came out in the 80s. And we need the new people who have their memes and their wild-eyed ideas about the future. I think it'd be a shame if we lost all of our old people, and it'd be a shame if we didn't have the perspectives of our Gen Z folks too. We just need a lot of different kinds of people to all have their own little niche, and I think it's great when people have passion for something, even if that seems like it doesn't mesh well with other people's passions. Just a lot of bickering goes on, a lot of argument, a lot of trying to sort of prove ourselves at the expense of someone else, and we shouldn't be hateful, but it's all right to have a little bit of room for being at odds. The challenge is to understand that you can fight somebody all day long, and you can still believe that their opinion is actually not completely incorrect either. And you can believe that you're right, and you can also believe that if everybody believed what you believe, well, the world wouldn't be a better place. So it's all about understanding and tolerance, patience, and I think we should always try to understand that maybe if you accept that you're old and you're going to die soon, then that might be a good path to learning how to actually be young for the rest of your life, because you stop always feeling like you're running against the clock. You're always trying to reach a destination. You just start to realize that the places you go and the things you do and the treadmills that you run on. It's not about getting somewhere. It's not about beating the game. It's just about getting the steps in and having a nice sort of a, I guess, something to do, right? It's kind of like my favorite MMOs. It's not the ones that really give me a sense of progress, or it's not really the achievements. It's the ones that just give me a passive opportunity to be present in a world and to feel like I'm connected to something. And it's not about doing something or getting somewhere. It's just about being there. And that's the lesson of life. Maybe that's the lesson of Christmas too, that, for all the times that we try to make a case for life being something we need to work on mastering or improving or something like that, the truth is life is just fine exactly the way it is. And even all the terrible things that happen in the world aren't really so bad when you zoom out far enough. It's just, as Carl Sagan once said, we are a way for the universe to know itself. So in all these iterations of our lives, we learn our lessons, and we maybe real life is sort of like purgatory. We just kind of exist in this vacuum so that we can make choices, maybe good choices, maybe bad choices. Maybe there is no such thing as good or bad, just people being people, doing their thing. And it's really comforting, I think, when you realize that life doesn't need to be fixed. You don't need to do something to make it better in order for it to be good enough. Then you just exist and enjoy every day. Even the parts that you don't enjoy. Even the people you don't enjoy. Because you just can't have the darkness without the light. And you can't have the light without the darkness. I was at Starbucks and they have these cookies, and the cookies are shaped like yin yang symbols with penguins. Because the way it works is there's a white penguin, and the white penguin has a black eye, and the black penguin has a white eye, and they sort of merge together into one. And in the end, you have a yin-yang shaped penguin cookie, which is available for a price that's probably too high. But you know what? It's nice to live in a world where you can get a yin-yang cookie that looks like a penguin. And when you think about it, life can't be too bad if you're able to go to Starbucks and get penguin cookies in the morning. So no matter what you're finding yourself up against, always look for those things that add a little bit of a spark of joy into your life. Have a bit of a sense of humor. Sometimes remember it's okay to make fun of people and to take jabs and to do all sorts of crazy things. Just remember it's kind of more of a joke than it is something that you should take super seriously. So don't worry too much about trying to win the battle. Just jump into that melee and be yourself and let other people be themselves. Take jabs. Do your thing. Let yourself be human. Let other people be human too. And remember that all of our habits and our vices and our little quirks, they don't really need to be fixed. And as we go through this season of gratitude and Thanksgiving and hopefully a little bit of love, just remember the best kind of love is the kind that doesn't try to change people. It's the kind that accepts people. So just accept yourself as you are and accept other people as they are. And let every day be a new day. It doesn't mean that just because you accept yourself as you are, that tomorrow you can't do something different and become something new. There's a quote I love. It was a quote by Leonard Nimoy, who played Spock in Star Trek, and he said, "I've died many times. Sometimes more than once, even in a single day. Every time I've left my old self behind and allowed myself to become something new." Isn't that true? Every day, we get a chance to reinvent ourselves just a little bit. Maybe take a different path. Or maybe take a familiar road one more time. Either way, whether you let tomorrow be another Groundhog Day or choose to chart a new course, however you choose to live, wherever you choose to go, there is no right or wrong path. It'll all work out in the end. It's okay. So, don't try so hard. Just remember you're enough. Everyone else is too. Life is perfect, exactly as it is. So keep on walking. After all, we got a new administration coming in. RFK Jr. says we should be healthy, so maybe we should get our steps in and try not to be too fat and avoid going to McDonald's too much. I did see in the news that Lamb Weston, the company that makes French fries for McDonald's, posted bad earnings, and their stock really fell a lot today. So maybe people aren't getting as many French fries at McDonald's as they used to. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it means anything. It might mean that it's going to be a good time soon to think about buying shares of the potato company. But I guess I'll let tomorrow take care of itself, and we'll see about that some other day. In any case, I will say I think out of all the things you can get at McDonald's, the very best thing about it is the French fries. And no matter how much you talk about trying to be healthy, you've got to admit there's nothing like McDonald's French fries. So maybe it's okay to be a little unhealthy sometimes. Eat that ice cream. Overeat. Consume your French fries. But you also have to get up out of your chair sometimes too. Otherwise that'll catch up with you. They say your metabolism will slow as you age, so that's also something you got to remember. I think we all get old and we all die, but it's harder to handle the inevitability of aging if you're fat and out of shape. So let that be a cautionary tale. If you want to be fat, that's okay. But might not be a bad idea to get up out of that chair sometimes and go outside and breathe that fresh winter air and look up at the stars. Maybe you'll even see a drone out there, and wouldn't that be exciting? Just remember, sometimes they're airplanes, so don't shoot at them. Well, anyways, I hope you all are having a wonderful time as we make our way toward Christmas. Till next time, thanks so much for watching.